Hello, welcome to Aussie Yarning. This is episode 32 and it is Sunday, April 13, 2014. So welcome to this episode. Some of you may not have seen episode 30 and 31 because they have caused me so much trauma. It's not funny. In the past, if I did a podcast that was even up to an hour, I could convert it to a video and still have it under 1 gigabyte capacity. And WordPress, which is where my podcast is stored, only takes up to 1 gigabyte per upload. So everything worked fine for so long. And then suddenly, for some unknown reason, when I convert the videos, even if they're far less than an hour, they're still coming over a gigabyte. Like one was 1.1 gigabyte. One came in at 1.08 a gigabyte. But of course, WordPress won't take anything other than 1 gig or less. So I had a choice of either cutting the videos in half and then uploading part A and part B, which I could have done, I suppose. But I'd already worked my way through all of that, so it was like, I don't want to do that again. Or I just uploaded to YouTube, which doesn't seem to have a problem about the size of a video that I upload. Mind you, it takes a long time. I think when I uploaded one the other night, it said it was going to take 753 hours to upload. I think it brought that down a little bit. Maybe my computer was really slow at the moment and that's what it estimated at. But still in all, it takes several hours to upload to YouTube. So this week I'm going to try and keep it down to less than 30 minutes and hope that it will upload or convert under 1 gig. If it doesn't, I will contemplate cutting it in half so that it can appear on iTunes. I'm still working my way through Podcast Garden to see if it will work. I'm very frustrated that because it's a very new program, whatever, there's very little information on it. So I couldn't work out how to upload my podcast, and so I emailed someone who is already doing it, and she very kindly gave me very clear instructions on how to upload. But I haven't yet got to that. So I'm still working on that. If it succeeds, and if there is no limit over 1 gig of uploading, then I'm going to transfer to that now instead of waiting till my WordPress subscription runs out. Because it goes to iTunes, so why wouldn't I? Because everybody who wants to watch it in iTunes can. I will still upload to YouTube because there's a lot of people that say they like to watch it there. So that's the ongoing trauma of the podcast. And I think I've told you everything there. Okay, week in review. I told you last week that we sold our motorhome and that now we were looking to buy me a car. We went from contemplating a $10,000 car and finding that really there's not a lot out there that you can get for that price that's going to last me for a good long time. I anticipate this will probably be the last car I ever buy, so I want it to be a nice car. So after many, many, many days of looking at all different cars and prices and what they've got in them, and of course because I'm a bit of a tech nerd, I love to have all the latest bells and whistles in a car, so, talking to the whatever it is that it's in the car and telling it I want it to talk to somebody, phone somebody, it does all of that for me. So I was looking for that. Then we discovered, very late in the week, that because my husband is on a TPI pension, and for those who don't know what TPI means, it's totally and permanently incapacitated. So he's on that pension, and the government allows someone on a TPI to buy a brand new vehicle with no GST and no transfer fees. So when you're looking at a brand new vehicle, that brings the price down dramatically. So the end result is that I bought a brand new Holden Cruise hatchback car in silver. It's called nitrate silver. So I'm really happy and I'm really excited and I love it. It does all sorts of fun. It's got a reversing camera, it's got sensor warning signals, lots and lots of, oh, it's press start. You press a button and the car starts. You press a button and it unlocks the car, all that sort of thing. So it's really lovely and I'm very happy. All right, so let's get on to the whole reason for this podcast, which is knitting. And the first thing I'm going to show you is the dyeing of my green hexagon blanket. I no longer have a green blanket. I now have a black blanket. Obviously, I didn't follow Fiona's instructions very well. And added to that, she did tell me to leave it so, because I said to you last week it said to boil, and I didn't think that was a good idea. So I spoke to Fiona, she said, no, you don't boil it. It was to be done the same way that she does her dyes, which is sitting out in the sun. So I put it in a big tub. I put half a container of dye in. That was obviously my first mistake. Put it out in the sun, left it all day, which she said to leave it almost all day. But of course I was running around town looking at cars, wasn't I? So by the time I got back one night, I was too tired to go out and deal with that blanket. So I thought, there's no sun, it'll be okay. So I left it there. But then I went out the next day looking at cars, didn't I? So it sat there for 48 hours in the dye before I finally got to it. And needless to say, it's very, very black. But also, there are green splotches. And the funny thing is, from memory, the blocks that are still green are the blocks that were the darkest when I put the whole thing together, which is what I was trying to hide. I was trying to get the other ones to sort of have a washed look about them so that they all came into the same style of looking. So now I have semi-green, what were darker patches, and the rest are black. So let me show it to you. And I think I'm showing it to you the right way. I will put up a picture so that you can see it more fully. And typically, when I take a photo, you can see the green patches a lot more than you can when you're just looking at it here. So here is my black blanket. And it is black. Very. Now, I don't know whether you can see. Maybe you can tell on this one. No, I don't think the colours are going to show it to you. This one was one of the darker greens, and now it's the one showing green, whereas the one next to it is showing black. But it doesn't matter. I had the experience of dyeing, and I'm just not sure whether I'll ever do that again. I learned that you don't put in too much in one go, that it's always easy to put some more in later on. I learned not to leave it for 48 hours before getting it out. And also, I'm very happy with it as a black blanket. It doesn't stand out quite the same in the changing and the colour as it did before, so I'm happier with that. Still don't know if it'll go to my younger son, but somebody will get it and somebody will enjoy it. My granddaughter and her partner saw it and they said they loved it. They'd be very happy to receive it. Hint, hint. I don't think she was hinting. But anyway, she said she'd be happy to receive it. So somebody is going to get this blanket and be very happy. And the fact that it is black, it makes it more like a male blanket anyway. Because it is, as someone pointed out, there are flowers on it. I mean, it has been knitted with flowers on it. So the fact that it's black makes it more appropriate for a male who might have problems with sissy fingers. So that is my blanket. You won't see that again. It is going out of the picture altogether. So that was the blanket. The next thing is finished objects, and I'm wearing it. So it is finished. Now, it was finished last week. I was just casting it off. But now it's finished. It's been blocked. I must admit I'm not happy with the way I blocked it. Obviously, I have a lot to learn about blocking when it comes to frilly little bits like this. Now, they're not too bad now. I have sat here and I've stretched them all out to try and make them a little, because I was showing that distinct mark where I pinned the points and it was making it very distinct. I think I've probably got rid of most of that and it is sitting nicely now. And I love it. I am thrilled with it. It just sits, like all I've got on here is just my summer dress, but the colours work perfectly for that dress, and it just sits nicely. It just makes something elegant that was just ho-hum before. Oh, it's not going to work now. I've got to get it right. Got to get it right so I can keep wearing it through the podcast. There we go. So, very happy with it. Would I knit another one? Yes, I would. Love doing it, but I now know there's a multitude of other lace patterns out there to knit. So this was my first experience with something quite as lacy as this, and it scared me to start it, and that's why I did the smaller one instead of the size that Fiona did. I keep pushing my glasses up because they feel uncomfortable, but then the light's shining. Sorry, you have to just bear with that. Yes, so I wanted to experience lace without it being too big, and I felt this was a perfect size and a perfect exercise to learn about lace and beading. So I am thrilled with it, and it means now that I can look at other really lacy patterns and not be scared of trying to attempt them. So yes, I may knit this again one day, and I may even knit the larger size. But for now, I'm happy with this, and I'm going to go on to the next experience of knitting lace. So not sure what that's going to be. There's plenty out there. Don't think I'll start with the even star. Don't think I'll go there yet. But we'll see. If you've got any suggestions of another lace shawl with beads that you've done that you really love doing, then let me know, because I'd love to try something that somebody else has already experienced and has enjoyed. So that's the only FO that I have. I had hoped that I would have finished my second little baby jacket before today, but I started on the sleeves last night and realised I'd made a terrible mistake. So I undid the whole thing and I'm starting again with the sleeves. So I've got it all pinned to get the shape properly, but here's the little jacket. Because of its stocking stitch here, it wants to curl up. But there you can see what it's going to look like at the front. And there's the back. Love the back. Just love that. So I've just got to do the sleeves and then the front and left, the right and left band and the neck, and then that will be finished. Not sure what I'm going to do about getting the front bands, because like some of the colours are really short, some of the colours are really long, and I didn't want to have like all black. Well, actually it's not black, it's a dark green. I didn't want to have all of the dark colour on one side and then another colour on the other side. So I'm just not sure how I'm going to work that. I'll fiddle with it when the time comes and I'll see what I come up with. So that is that, and I'm making it out of the opal yarn called Smile, and it's the number 7935. This one I bought at Pearlwise, so that's pearlwise.com.au, and Mark posts to all over the world, so wherever you are, you can order from Mark. I think I'm not sure if that's for Australia or overseas. He said that his maximum postage is $5, but I've got a feeling that might be for Australia. But anyway, check his website out and have a look at all the things that he's got. So that's what I did the baby jacket with. And I forgot to tell you again about the shawl. It was done in Fiona's Solar Flare fibres. And I'll try again to say the name, Amaterasu. Yep. She told it to me again on Monday night, but I think I need a lesson in speech. And then Sea Glass is the colour. Absolutely gorgeous colour. It's not a variant. What do you call it? Can't think how she describes it. There is a word. Anyway, there's slight changes in the colouring as it dies. So just beautiful. Really love it. And as I said last week, lots and lots of yarn still left over, so can do lots more if I want. So the other thing that I'm doing now, had I told you? Yes, I did tell you last week. That's right, because I showed you the yarn that I had now started the mystery cowl with Laura Nelkin. And the name of the mystery cowl is Magnify. I'm not sure why, but anyway, that was the name. Now, warning, this is, I'm going to show you a mystery thing, so if you don't want to see it, spoiler alert right now. And let me show you. This is now it's a very interesting pattern. Well, so far, there are 2 pieces. Who knows what clue 3 is going to be? But this is clue 1. So what we've got is a very interesting pattern with the beads. You can see my beads in there, and they go really well with the colouring. And then you do clue 2, which is almost identical. Well, it's identical but reversed. So I think it goes this way, and I think it's reversed. That's it. So there you go. Exactly the same piece, but in reverse. So I'm trying to imagine what it might be. Could it be something that's going to sit like that? Or does that sit around like that? I'm only up to clue 2, and to my memory there's 4 clues, so who knows what that is going to be. Now, I was asked during the week what it was that I was working with, and it's Malabrigo sock, and it is in 128 Fresco Y Seco. Not sure if all of that is relevant or just the fresco, but that's the green in the Malabrigo. Just beautiful shades. And I got that from Pearlwise as well. So pearlwise.com.au, and he has gorgeous yarns and gorgeous knitting needles and gorgeous everything else. And one more. Okay, the one more isn't my sock yarn blanket. Didn't get any love this week, but it knows I'll come back to it, so it's okay. For a couple of weeks, Fiona from Down Under Yarn has been talking about a sock or a pattern that she was knitting, like to test the pattern, a test knit for Josh Rikes, who is Sword of a Knitter. That's his Ravelry name, Sword of a Knitter. He also has a podcast called Sword of a Knitter. And Josh is a brilliant designer. He's only a young man. I really don't even know how old he is. I'd say 21, 22, something like that. Sorry, Josh, if you're older. But that's about the age. I don't know much about ages. I can't tell. Anyway, he is a brilliant designer. He designs the most beautiful things and so different to anything else. So I saw Fiona finally finished the sock that she was working on and showed everybody, and it was on her Instagram and things, and I thought, oh yeah, I like that. And then I was watching, I was looking at Instagram for Diane of Knittables, and she had just finished the same pattern. And when I saw hers, I thought, I just got to knit them. They just look so lovely. I've never been tempted to do the, what's the one that she does all the time? The Seashore, no. I can't think of it. Whatever that one is that Diane knits a whole heap of, you'd think I'd remember it by now. Anyway, I've never really been tempted to try those, but when I saw the pattern of Josh's, I thought I just really want to knit that, not only for the finished product of the way they turned out, but for the challenge of learning how to do what he has done. So I started, and this is what I'm up to so far. Look funny. Look as if it's on a funny angle. It is. So that's that side. That's this side. So that's the front. And that's the back so far. Just a fascinating pattern. So easy to do. There's nothing hard about it. Obviously, if you know anything about knitting, you'll know it's done with short rows. And I've chosen to do the German short rows instead of the typical ones that you wrap your yarn around, etc. But anyway, that's what I've done so far. I love every minute of it. I can see that it's a sock that I'll stick to all the way through because it's so enjoyable to knit. And let's just hope I knit the second one when I've done the first one, because I don't think it's something I would want to do two at a time, because the other side obviously is reverse of what this is, so that this unusual change happens in reverse on both socks. So I don't think I've got what it takes to do two at a time. So I'll do one, and hopefully I'll be able to get the second one. So you're thinking, what am I doing this in? And I'm doing this in Noir. This is the Motivera yarn that you get at Spotlight. And for those of you in other countries, Spotlight is our big store that has an abundance of homeware and da-da-da-da-da and sock yarn. Oh, well, and yarn. And this is their specific sock yarn, Noir. Mind you, I have heard that they've stopped making this and they're getting in something else that's 2-ply, so don't know. And I love this particular colour. So that's how it turns out. And I think I've got all the repeats here now so you can see exactly what the whole sock's going to be like. So they are my works in progress. I've got to hurry because I'm at 23 minutes. All right. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you the pattern for the socks is Mystic Spiral Socks. So if you want to get the pattern, go into Ravelry. Look up Mystic, M-Y-S-T-I-K, Spiral Socks by Josh Rikes, who is sort of a knitter, and get the pattern. It's a paid-for pattern. I think it was $6 US. Okay, so, oh yeah, just a comment here that very soon I intend to start back on my log cabin blankets that I was doing last year for two of my grandsons. And one I got to the point that it was quite big, and the other one I've only just started the first big square. And now that it's getting cooler weather, I think I can get those out and start working on them. So I'm hoping to get everything else finished so that I can start working on them completely. And the last thing that I want to tell you is that I was contacted this morning by Meg Atelier, who is a dyer in Sydney, and her yarns are called Atelier yarn. You can find her in the Etsy shop. Atelier is A-T-E-L-I-E-R yarn. And Meg offered me a skein of yarn if I'm running a competition, a knit along or something. And I thought that was brilliant. So I'm going to have to think about a competition, something that we can participate in together, and then somebody can win Meg's yarn at the end of it. I might even find a way of doing the competition and buying her yarn to complete the competition. I don't know. I'll think about that one. She just contacted me this morning, so I'll need to think it through and come up with a good answer. I will be running another Yahtzee competition soon, maybe next week I'll introduce that, and then you'll be able to put your name down and hopefully win that as well. All right, well, that's all I need to say, and we're 25 minutes in, so I want to stop here and make sure I get it converted to the right size so that I can upload it. And remember, she'll be right, mate. Bye.